you win this round. But we'll meet again. Promise. Nub does not have the cuff anymore. What do you think? Would you like to break into the big house with Nub and recover this precious artifact of yours? Nub's finding all sorts of interesting things, but where is Human's cuff?
The servants are never allowed in my father's study. Definitely not down here, so we shan't be disturbed.
Nub is not so sure about that.
I have no idea how you got here, but I can't wait to find out. This is going to be such fun. Ridiculous. Absolutely rudimentary. Maybe someday the elves would actually be open to learning what real magic is. But saying it takes them hundreds of years to do anything, probably not anytime soon. Oh, look at you. You're finally awake again. Are you comfortable? Oh, sorry about that. Let me get something more comfortable for our honoured guest. Oh wait, except you're not an honoured guest, are you? You broke in here to my home. And you actually thought you were going to get out of here alive. Completely foolish. You know, you're very interesting. In all my years, in all of my journeys, or everything that I've had to do for my father, I have never once met someone like you. Someone so recklessly brave, and also so stupid. I mean, really, you broke in here, what, looking for something? That's what Calypso said. That you were, looking for some strange silver cuff, right? You said it was yours. You really think that someone who knows something about these relics that you've been searching for so long, did you really think you were a match for them? Did our last encounter teach you nothing? Now, I know that last time you had some aces up your sleeve, didn't you, to scare me away right before I was able to actually get what I'd come there for. But you see, the last time that we met in that dark, abysmal, dirty, cold city of the dwarves, see, I was in a bit of a hurry to get home. And I was also a bit out of my element. See, I don't really like underground, the coldness, the darkness, the dreary, all of that. It's just quite unpleasant. But now, we're exactly where I'm most comfortable. You have decided to infiltrate my own home. And you honestly thought that that was going to be okay. Like I said, I've never met someone more reckless or stupid. Well, at least you were on the right track, I suppose. The cuff that you've been searching for, it is here. Not that you're going to be leaving with it, I can tell you that, but you were right that it's here. You see, my father, he's a collector, of rare, interesting items. Because he has been looking for that cuff and the hourglass and all of those other relics from that ritual magic that foolish little elf Penham did to try to lock away all of that raw power. Yeah, I know you know about all of that, all of poor Penham's sacrifice and all of that, and the evil, corrupted forces at work in that poor little town of Whisperwind. Honestly, they were all lucky to get to witness such amazing raw energy. And yet they were afraid of it because they couldn't control it. And so instead of taking the time to learn about it, to see what might come from such an amazing gift, they locked it up. Isn't that just so like an elf? Anything that is unusual, anything that they don't understand, that they don't completely, come to terms with immediately, they label as bad and wrong and just lock it away for no one else to see. Cowards, the lot of them. Just cowards. My father. Yes, I take it you've heard his name by now, probably. Calypso isn't exactly tight-lipped about those sorts of things. Calamus. That's right. Lord Calamus. The overlord of this forest, for starters. But someday he's going to be the greatest man in this kingdom. And I'll be right by his side. Along with Calypso, I suppose. Calypso, you're worried about her. You're the one chained to a chair in a secret room in the basement of a home of the most powerful man in the world. And you're worried about what happened to her. Don't know if that's more brave, more chivalrous, or just more being foolish. Calypso is fine. She'll be just fine. I mean, she's locked up in her room for now. She won't be going anywhere for a while. At least until I leave. But, no, I can't harm her. She's Daddy's prize, you see, so if anything were to happen to her, I would be in quite a bit of trouble. She's his pride and joy. The culmination of centuries of honing his skill and work. I'm just a reminder of all his failures. Well, at least I'm loyal. At least I'm strong and smart and useful. If I wasn't useful, he'd discard me, just like all the others. But look at you. You've got me monologuing again. Here I am, just spilling all of this very useful information. Although, I guess it doesn't matter this time, because no one is coming to save you. You're not getting away this time. I guarantee it. You will not be leaving this manor alive. So I guess it doesn't really matter what I tell you and what I don't, does it? But still, foolish of me to be just spouting out all of this information to the enemy. My father would have a few things to say about that. Oh well. Now, I am incredibly curious as to, well, I guess we sort of know what you're doing here, but why exactly you're here, how you even found out about this place, and what you were intending to do next. You see, I've been searching for these relics for my father for years and years and years, and I have never come across anyone else who even knew what they were, let alone someone foolish enough to actually try to find them. Why is it that you're even looking for them? I mean, if you're on Penham's side, this little ghost friend of yours who gave you her sob story and sent you off into the world doing her dirty work, then obviously you're not trying to unlock the power to get it, right? Oh, unless you're a double agent. I mean, if that's the case and you're actually fooling Penham, then, maybe we could talk a bit. No. Well, that would have been interesting. Oh well. So you are fully on Penham's side. For whatever reason. Why exactly are you trying to find these relics? You're not going to tell me? That's all right. I actually rather like it that way. If you just said it, this would all be over far too quickly. You see, last time we met, I said I was, somewhat in a hurry to get out of that awful little village underground. But now, you are in my home, and I can take all the time that I would like with you. Now, the last time we met, you were also a bit, what's the word? Tight-lipped, I guess. But I do have other ways that don't require your cooperation. Like I said, the magic of the elves is really just scratching the surface. There is so much more that you can do. If only you knew. So, instead of waiting for you to decide to talk to me, I could instead just sort of take what I need from your mind. Just sift through your little life here and find out whatever it is that I would like to know. You see, last time in Knapwin, I was looking for something very specific, and so there was actually quite a lot of very interesting information in your mind that didn't really have time to sift through. But now, I would love to just spend some time getting to know you, our honoured guest, the complete fool. What exactly is it that drives you with all of this hardship, all of this uncertainty, not even really knowing if you'll ever succeed? And yet here you are, risking your life yet again in search of one of these relics. Oh, there we are. A prophecy. That's what all of this is about. That's what all of this barrels down to. Is some sort of elven prophecy predicting the end of times, Of course. Going on this life-altering, life-threatening quest at the whims of a prophecy and a ghost. Goodness. Well, I mean, I have to hand it to you. When you believe something, you really believe it wholeheartedly, don't you? Not sure if that's a good thing or just a foolhardy thing. You know, it is possible to learn new information and change your mind after you learn something new. it's possible that the side of the story that you know is not the whole story. That's really all it is. A prophecy. You're part of some secretive organization done is trying to bring about this prophecy. Or stop, I guess, what the prophecy says will happen if certain things don't happen. You know, that's the thing with prophecies. It's never incredibly clear what's going on. And sometimes the more you learn, or the more that you try to stop a prophecy, you're actually the one who ends up bringing it about. Yeah, prophecies are funny that way. It's not something to base your entire identity on. You know that, right? Well, obviously you don't, because sounds like that's sort of what you've been doing. Oh, you poor thing. Don't you have any sort of ambitions of your own? All you want is to save the world, huh? Not to bring about this doomsday and protect the kingdom from this awful, evil, unknown thing. Do you know, evil and unknown are two completely different things, okay? I know the elves might teach that anything that is unknown, anything that they don't understand is bad. That's very prejudiced. Just because you don't understand something doesn't make it bad. Doesn't make it wrong or dark or evil. Something can be unknown and it can be something new that's good. Something new that's exciting, that opens up new possibilities to you. It doesn't always have to be this doom and gloom. If we don't understand it, then we shun it because it's bad. It's quite a small-minded way of thinking. So why is a human like you just selling their soul to all of these elven ideas, huh? Wait a moment. A glamour spell. You're not a human at all. You're an elf, aren't you? Oh, that just makes this all the more rich. No wonder you're so foolish. Those elves, you elves, I suppose, not those elves, you're one of them. Thinking that you're so powerful, that you've got everything figured out, that you're this amazing, refined race, when really, you're so completely stuck in your own ways, completely unwilling to see the good in anything outside of you. Fools, the lot of you. There is so much more in this world than what you all have deemed to be right and good and refined. There's so much more than the world has to offer. I mean, hopefully you've learned that a little bit in all of these travels of yours. All of this time that you've spent with humans. Perhaps you weren't sure what to think about them at first. But it seems like you've acquired quite a taste for humans, haven't you? Developed quite an affection. And not just for the lovely Rhea. Poor dear. Well, at least she did get to see you one last time, after our encounter in Knapwin. Perhaps that will make this even more heartbreaking. When you never come back to see her again. Poor dear. Poor simple Rhea. Oh, don't like me calling her simple, eh? I can call you a fool all day, but don't insult Rhea. All right, I mean, I suppose that's what affection does to us, isn't it? No, from your memories at least, she does seem to be somewhat brave. Got a decent head on her shoulders. She at least doesn't shun you because you're an unknown. You walked into her town with very little explanation, and yet she just befriended you anyway. If she had been an elf, she would not have done that. She would have rejected you because she didn't know you. She couldn't understand you right away. She couldn't control you. Elves are all about control. You may not think it just looking at them from the outside, but really they're quite selfish, quite spoiled, quite unfortunate creatures, really. Pathetic. Cowards. Weak. But thinking themselves strong. You know, that's the worst kind of weakness. When you have a weakness and you don't even realize that you're weak. Here they are thinking of themselves as this superior race. No. You've got nothing on the rest of us. Really. Gnomes, they're so innovative and clever. And even the smelly dwarves, I mean, they may be a bit stuck in their ways too, but at least they have, tried to have good relations with the other races in the last 300 years or so. The elves just hit the road. They said, we lost a war and now we're all sad, so we're just going to disappear forever. Boo-hoo. Poor elves. If they had fought back harder, they'd actually known what they were doing. Maybe they wouldn't have lost. But they did. And they're gone. Good riddance, I say. Good riddance to the lot of you. You've had such fascinating adventures, haven't you? Almost getting killed by a siren. Saved by a ghost. You've met quite a few ghosts, haven't you? Even going to the astral plane. That's not something many mortals can say that they have done. Fascinating. What's this one? Oh, here's your meeting with a vampire. I remember you saying the last time we met you thought I might be a vampire. Interesting that she lets you live too. I guess not all vampires are incredibly bloodthirsty. At least not after they've been changed for a little while. At first they all are. It's quite silly, really. So many adventures. Fortune tellers from distant lands. Oh, he's more of the dwarves. The first human in 100 years to visit a dwarven city. Quite an honour, I suppose. You can call going to that place an honour. They can keep their underground cities as far as I'm concerned. Although once my father is ruler of this land, he does intend to have a much better relationship with the dwarves. Giving them enough freedom to let them live their lives how they'd like to. But definitely keeping good trade, good relations with them in that way, Can't have an undefeatable army without weapons, so no. And he does plan to be undefeatable. I mean, honestly, even without this energy from the hollow in Whisperwind, he already is quite powerful. You think that I'm dangerous. You don't know the half of it. He's had 300 years. 300 years to grow stronger, to learn more about himself, about this primal energy inside of him. It's quite something to behold. Whisperwind. Quite an interesting little town now. I mean, it was interesting back in my father's day too, but for different reasons. Looks like quite the collection of characters that live there now. This inventor friend of yours sounds quite useful. Oh, and Clea. Dabbling in magic, is she? I bet she worships those elves. Everything that they have to offer the world. Oh, and a healer. Plant magic, probably. Interesting. I wonder where she learned that. What a fascinating little town. Seeing as it's a place that you've been lately, that you seem to be rather fond of. Perhaps that pesky little hourglass that eluded me last time. Perhaps that's there. Shall we look a bit? Perhaps you have it enchanted or something, so I can't find it in your mind. That would be incredibly frustrating, but just like an elf. Afraid that you wouldn't be able to protect it yourself with your own power, and so you've got to hide it, really. Well, no matter. I'll find it soon enough once you're gone. If it's enchanted, it will make it a bit more of a challenge, but then again, it's quite fun, isn't it? It's no fun if it's too easy. Like if you were just to tell me all of this, that would be over far too quickly. Now, what I'm curious about, I'm sure you know that there's more than 2 relics. Yes, let's see, where's that information? Here we go. Yes, you know, there's 6 of them. The 6 founding elves of Whisperwind all gave a little treasure to their precious pennon, and she enchanted all of them to be used in the ritual. I'm curious to know if you know where any of the other ones are. Now, of course, my father has been searching for them quite some time. Not the entire 300 years. I mean, he didn't know all of the specifics right away. It was quite a bit of, time finding out what happened. It's not like people were very forthcoming about all of that. And then the elves' great separation did slow things down a little bit, but luckily he did have a decent amount of magical knowledge from Benham herself. But he has been searching for quite a while. Just curious to know if you happen to know where any of those other relics are. Do I know where any of the other ones are? Do you really think that I would actually be so foolish as to tell you? I mean, like I said, not that you're leaving this manor house alone, but that is one thing you will not get me chatting about. But it would be interesting to know how much you know. So it seems that you do know what they all are. Actually, a decent amount about what they look like. That's useful for you. But not really seeing anything in here. about where the others are. Just want a really good look here and make sure. So you really are just working on all of this sort of on the fly, aren't you? Just hoping that somehow you'll find the next clue for where the next one is. Poor thing. Here this old ghost elf sent you on this quest and couldn't even really help you in what you're supposed to be doing. Poor thing. Yeah, it's actually quite sad, your life, if you think about it. You don't think so? Well, that's very noble of you, I suppose. Willing to sacrifice your life, your happiness, your time, years of your life. I mean, even if you are an elf, it's not like you have unlimited years. I mean, you maybe have more than humans, but you don't live forever. And here you are just giving all of it so freely. You know, you could just tell those elves that you're working for that you're working on things, but, you know, you sort of hit a dead end. It's not like elves do anything very quickly. It takes so long to make even just a single decision. Maybe you could just live some of your years in Whisperwind, peacefully, with your precious Rhea. They wouldn't have to know. Live out the rest of her life, seeing as she's a human and won't live nearly as long as you. You could just be happy. All of this pain that you've gone through, all of these struggles, all of this mortal danger that you've somehow escaped from every single time, you could just stop. You don't have to. I'm sure Rhea would love it to just get to spend her life with you. Don't you think? No, not you. You are far too noble, aren't you? This is your quest, your vow, your life purpose. Poor thing. Poor little thing. You know, honestly, all of this is actually making me feel better about killing you. Not that I really had any qualms, but I think I'm actually going to be doing you a favour, really. Ending this poor, miserable existence. Yeah, you should be thanking me. You could go on struggling for years, not even really knowing what you're doing. Or you could just sort of let it all go. Let me take this awful burden of your life from you. Honestly, you should be thanking me. Alright. Doesn't seem like you really know anything else about the rest of these relics. Besides what they are and what they look like. But you haven't got a clue. What were you going to do after you got the cuff? If you were actually successful in getting this precious cuff. You're going to go back to Whisperwind and just, strike out somewhere new and try to find something somewhere? Oh, yeah, I mean, I suppose, going through Penham's old journal or just talking to the ghost again. Trying to learn more about each of the founders, where something that they were hiding might be hidden. I suppose that's as good a strategy as any when you have nothing to go on. It's so sad that the people chosen, the poor souls suckered into doing these sorts of quests, they have people behind them who are sort of helping them, but not actually offering them any real help. Foolish. And very sad. Oh well. Oh well. At least your suffering is coming to an end. Well, as delightful as this has been, for the both of us, I'm sure, I do have quite a bit of new information that I should really relay to my father as soon as possible. My father? No, he's not here. I'll have to travel to him, but obviously I know where he is. I always know where he is. We have sort of this telepathic connection, almost. I don't know, it's a bit complicated to explain. Again, some more of that advanced magic that you elves would never even dream of tapping into because you don't understand it, and so it's bad. Anyway, I really should get on my way, as much as I would love to just sit here and play with you a bit more. It is getting rather late in the evening. Should get some rest and head out early tomorrow morning to tell my father everything that I have learned from you. All of this lovely information that you've just so graciously given me. You really helped me out a lot, you know. Quite a lot. He's probably not going to be pleased that the hourglass is now most likely in Whisperwind again. Probably send me there. Probably wouldn't want to go there himself. Bad memories, you know. You know, it's funny. He's so powerful, and yet there are things that he's just a bit sentimental about. I don't know that I would completely call it a weakness per se. I hate to think of that. Of my father having any weaknesses. Talking about that not end well for me. But sentimentality has no place. Well, at least not a permanent place. If you want power, you've got to make some sacrifices along the way. Someday you'll see that. Who knows what will happen to Whisperwind when we do finally unleash the magic from the hollow. It almost destroyed the entire town the first time, and that was with quite a few Elven mages trying to create a force field and save the poor little town. But this time, I'm afraid the whole town will probably be destroyed. Oh well, that won't be any concern to you, seeing as you won't be with us much longer, will you? It's a bit unfortunate, but at least then you won't have to see your poor precious Rhea get hurt, or any of these other lovely little friends that you've made. Isabel, Luna, Rosie, Farron. Sounds familiar. Why does that sound familiar? I'm sure it's nothing. It's not like there can't be two people in the kingdom named the same thing. Maybe I met someone named Farron previously on my journeys. Never been to Whisperwind, so it can't be her. Oh well. Anyway, at least you won't have to see any of them suffer. And you won't have to suffer anymore either. But, as I said, unless there's anything else that you'd like to tell me, I should probably go and get some rest. Busy day tomorrow and all. Alright, now, there are a few different ways that we can do this. If you'd like to just sort of close your eyes, I can make it pretty quick, pretty painless. Look at that glare in your eyes. Fight it to the end, Yeah, I can respect that. All right, well, I would tell you to hold still, because the more you struggle, the more it's going to hurt, but I really doubt that you would listen. Oh well, it's not really my concern. It will still be over somewhat quickly. You poor thing. You've wasted so much of your life when you could have been so happy. And here it ends. Farewell, foolish little traveler. Thank you for being interesting. But now it's time. We will never meet again.